Hello, everybody. This is Tanner Cummings again. Today, I'm going to give you a simple braiding method that I learned while in prison. It's also in my DIY for Prisoners, which is also available by Amazon and Freebird Publishers. Another book that I have available is also the Prisoner Survival Skills: How to Make Something from Nothing. Today, I took three of the same color line and I cut them approximately the same length because I've never cut things the same width, the same length. Okay, so what I'll do here is I'll take all three of them and I'll tie a knot at the end. Very simple knot. Okay, it's not got to be nothing complicated. Just make sure it's tight. Then what I'll do is I'll take a fourth string and I can tie it into a knot or a loop. What I'll do is I'll tie it to where it's a slip knot, meaning where I go over, I'll do just like this. Same side, right? Flip, back around, and through the loop. I got that one backwards. But yeah, it's a very simple knot. You can hold it like so. And you pull a little loop like that. Meaning it'll be slit through and it'll be nice and tight. What I'm going to do with this end is I'm going to stick it around the doorknob. This is the place to hold it so that way that I can hold my material in place. On the other end, I'm going to do the very same thing. I'm going to create a loop, just like that. I'm going to do a slip knot. Just like that. And hopefully that one will stay on there. I'm going to stick this one around the doorknob, just like so. I'm going to pull it tight so it doesn't come loose. Apparently that slip knot didn't want to stay there, so I'll do it again. There we go. Stay, buddy. Now what I'm going to do with this one, the long one that I did the three knots with together, I'm just going to pick a line and I'm going to run it through the center of this loop, like so. So now that it's all one line. Of course, this is going to slide, so I'm going to slide it all the way up. And I'm going to keep it tight as possible. Now when braiding, it's a very simple method. You got to keep all three lines as separate as possible. And you got to keep them tight. So what I do is I always like to go either LOC or ROC, meaning LOC is left over center and ROC is right over center. So I'm going to start with my ROC, which is the right hand. It's going to go over the center line. Then I'm going to take the left one, which is the center of the left, and go over the center again. I'm going to keep them tight, but I'm going to keep my fingers as close to the top as possible. And in doing so, it's going to be a constant LOC, ROC, LOC, ROC. So going back and forth, just like so, keeping it nice and tight, keeping them separate so they don't get tangled and pull them loose. Braiding is very simple. Sometimes you can get distracted or not pay attention and not keep it as tight as you want, and you may have to go back over and start over again. But it's always been the same little simple format. LOC, ROC. Left over center, right over center. Left over center, right over center. Left over center, right over center. And as you can see, we're developing the braid itself. And as I keep doing it, the faster I get, the faster I can get done with my braid. It took me years to get half as good as I am now. If I would keep practicing, I would get better. Of course, ladies, and those of you who braid hair for a profession, I will never be as good as you because I don't do this every single day anymore. I used to braid lines like this for $3, $4, $5, depending on who it was. I might charge $15 in prison, and I would make them out of the bands out of boxers, which would take me hours and hours, much less if I was spinning those lines. Those lines could be anywhere from 25 foot to 250 foot long. We use those lines really to run line from cell to cell across the way. And as you can see, you got to keep the same formation, the same format, and the same spacing for it to come out an even braid. Otherwise, it'll have spacings in them, or it won't be as tight, and therefore leaving you lots of room that makes it look uneven, and therefore making it look tacky and nasty. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is just a simple braid. Again, it's right over left, right over center, left over center, right over center, left over center, right over center, left over center. And just keep going, keeping it as tight as possible. As you can see, when you get to the ends, it's easier to work with because they don't get as tangled up as fast, and it's easier to go at a faster rate. But it's a simple thing to do. I wish I would have done this with color line instead, so you can see the different colors and see how it weaves in and out over and over and over and over, and you can see a little pattern to it. And when you get down to the end, it gets a little bit harder to do because you have less material to work with. And there you have it. I won't finish this last little end because it'll take a little longer. But as you can see, the material has now officially been braided. I'll try to get you a little bit better lighting so you can see that better. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull on this slip knot right here to let it loose. And then I can give you a little bit better of a visual of how the braiding looks. As you can see, when I get here close without, there we go, a little bit better. Give you a little visual lighting look on it. And you can see the braiding and how that looks. This is just a simple, I guess you'd call it twine or line, rope. And this is a simple thing. It's rather easy to do. You can easily take the ends and you can tie a knot into it. Just like so. Just like you did the first time. Pushing it through and keeping it nice and tight together. And then you have a simple braided line. Just like that. Real short, real sweet, real simple, to the point. I will be making more videos. I hope that you liked this video. If you did, or if you liked any of the other videos that I've made here in the past, I, for one, would appreciate a like, a comment, questions. I will get back to you as soon as I can. I make no promises. Subscribe, and I'll wait for my next video. It's a slow process for me because of my job and my sleep patterns, but I will be making more videos according to the books that I have, and I will be eventually making spreads like I did in TDCJ with the rest of my fellow inmates. If you have questions, don't hesitate to leave them in the comment, and I'll check them out time to time. I don't make promises to get back to everybody's questions. Maybe one day I will do a live session and see about answering questions. So with that, you can easily go to Amazon.com or you can go to freebirdpublishers.com and you can order my books. I have two that are cookbooks known as the Cell Chef Cookbook. I have a DIY for prisoners. I also have a prisoner survival skills, how to make something out of nothing. And I personally self-published a book called The Only Prisoner's Resource Guide That You Will Ever Need, which is available on Amazon. I have another book, it's a poetry, and it's available on Amazon. It's called Voices of the Oppressed. Um, currently have another book that will be coming out in the near future. I've been working on it with Freebird Publishers, editing it and getting it together for them. Uh, it's just a matter of me finishing editing it and getting it to them, and they make the corrections and get it out there available to you folks. I appreciate your support very much. I hope that y'all have a very safe and very blessed life. Good luck to you in your adventures and whatever you're looking for, whether it's just creativity or innovations or just something to do. Man, take care. Later.